Mascots for game companies usually show up as soon as they make the first game featuring them. Mario, Sonic, Crash Bandicoot, see what I mean? To many, Hudson Soft's mascot would be Bomberman, the cute little robot man who drops bombs to destroy his adversaries. Well, it seems Hudson never really cared about Bomberman other than a few ports until they began milking the franchise in 1990 when they ported it to both the Game Boy and their own TurboGrafx-16 console. But for the time now, Bomberman was a simple game ported to the Famicom and NES to hopefully find success. Bomberman was originally a game for the PC-88 computer in 1983, which may have the funniest iteration of Bomberman, where he was just a man in overalls. And his head falls off when he dies. Now in 1985, Hudson's NES port brings Bomberman to the current identity he has now. I'm sure we all know what Bomberman is, right? It's a maze-like game where Bomberman has to destroy all the enemies with bombs, along the way finding power-ups hidden in the bricks. And Bomberman's adversaries include barrels, smiley faces with buck teeth, water puddles, and balloons. Wow, 2 games in a row with enemy balloons. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest here. I'm not a big fan of Bomberman, and I was not looking forward to playing a really early version of Bomberman. And in fact, this game is super boring when you first start playing it. It's a huge arena with Bomberman being super slow and the enemy AI being so basic and having no pattern that you could die if you got too close to them. Also, once you kill all the enemies, you have to find the exit, all in under a time limit. But as soon as you get that first power-up, whether it be an extra bomb you can drop, longer firing range, or just a speed up, the game gets a lot more enjoyable and tolerable and can even make you into an unstoppable god. Sweet Jesus. And I gotta give credit to Hudson for understanding that if we have power-ups, if we die, we should keep them. So yeah, Bomberman's not a bad game, especially for 1985. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have bad things about it. First is something simple. If you find the exit before you kill all the enemies, the game decides to spit out a bunch of balloon enemies at you for no real reason, other than that random chance of finding the exit before you were supposed to. And lastly, the password system. Hudson, I gave you praise in your first 2 games for easy level select, and you had to go down this road. And why do they have to be a paragraph long? This is freaking Bomberman, and worst of all, if you accidentally enter the wrong letter, which you probably will, there's no way of going back to change it. You have to purposely enter letters until the password resets. That's no fun. But other than those 2 problems, everything else about Bomberman pretty much works. And although this is probably not the version of Bomberman to play, but with hundreds of ports, I'm sure you can find your favorite version somewhere. And since I've alluded to it before, I'll show the ending to this game. You have succeeded in helping Bomberman to become a human being. Maybe you can recognize him in another Hudson Soft game. Well, joke's on you, Hudson, because that game was published in the West by a completely different company.